it's got to be directly related to the recruiting rates, no? Like guys are looking at this saying, why would I join up for that? Why? There's no responsibility. Our lives are taken for granted. No one gets fired. No one says sorry. We continue to funnel money to our enemies how much blood and treasure was lost in Afghanistan fighting the same group, which we're now funding. I know people say that's not it. No, I think that's it. We looked at the surveys as to why guys are not signing up anymore. And like the top item was fear of death, which is okay, yes, normal, but for centuries, and guys have been getting past that and signing up anyway, but they're not. So what is it?
I mean, I think it has to do with a lot of things. I think it had to do with the forced vaxes. I think it has to do with the woke agenda. I mean, talk about miscalculating your body of work. I mean, it is not liberal Democrat families that sign up for the military. It is middle class to low class conservative families, and you just alienated your entire base. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to go to become a SEAL, to be going to gender ideology crash courses and pronoun training or whatever the hell else they're doing in there, how not to be a right-wing extremist. And I mean,
deal with your white rage.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's that. I think it's the way the war's ended. I think it's the new advertising that they do for recruitment.
She's a lesbian.
Yeah.
Her mothers are LGBTQ.
It's everything. Everything about what the messaging they're putting out is who are they going to get?
Right. I mean, the numbers are at record lows, and we are precariously perched on possible conflict, God forbid, in Ukraine. The United States doesn't want any part of that. God forbid, the Middle East. And they're still talking about Taiwan like it's like, we might actually get involved over there. I was talking to a former Navy SEAL whose name you would know, and he was like, we're not going to win the Taiwan thing. Like, they're going to take it. China's going to take it, and there's not much we're going to be able to do about it without actually getting involved militarily, boots on the ground, and the American people aren't going to want that. Like, if China takes it, his analysis was, we're going to have to let them take it.
I mean, we'll probably provoke them to take it, just to start another war, just to spin up the military-industrial complex more than it already is, and I mean, that's seems to be what we do is we provoke, and then capitalize. And
can you zoom out on that, Shawn? Do that, explain that to me, because I understand people throw that term around, military-industrial complex, but you understand it better than most.
Yeah. So the military. I mean, let's take it back to the Iraq War. I don't think we should have been there at the time. I think, it was great. I got action. I got to do what I signed up to do. We got to kill a bunch of bad guys. Now that I'm older and I'm out and I see a bigger picture, I mean, I just think it's kind of weird that Dick Cheney was the CEO of Halliburton. Halliburton was the biggest logistics, not the biggest, probably the only logistics company in both wars. And so everywhere you went, it was Halliburton did the laundry. Halliburton did the gas. Halliburton built the barracks. Halliburton built the chow hall. Halliburton cooked the food. Halliburton did everything. The mail, everything. It was KBR Halliburton. He was the CEO of that. So all infrastructure in the entire Iraq war was Halliburton. Who is the former CEO is the vice president of the United States. Mm-hmm. That's what we're getting at. There's Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, and all of these. They make a lot of the tech and the missiles and the planes and all of these sorts of things, guns, communications equipment, everything that is new that's being developed it's not the government developing it. It's these companies that get paid ungodly amounts of money to fund to develop things you would use in war.
And then they put people like Nikki Haley on their boards.
Exactly.
I mean, she's not only was on the Boeing board, but she has a husband who's making military vehicles right now. That's his side business, where he's making the vehicles that'll be used in war, which they profit off of.
Yeah.
This is what you're talking about. And then she, you know, in her world was about to step into the presidency and have zero conflicts.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, you know, like Ukraine. I mean, we send all of our stuff over, all of our missiles, our tanks, our UAVs, our javelins, whatever, you fill in the blank. And so now we have to replenish all those stockpiles, and which is making these companies, it's given the companies work to make more money. And that's what this, I'm convinced that that's what this is all about.
The saber rattling. And the reason the politicians do it is because these are big donors.
Yeah. I mean, I can't be, you know, you would probably know more about that than I do, but yeah, I mean, lobbying organizations, hey, we look at all the people that are supporting what's going on in Ukraine and Russia and
still,
and why were we in Afghanistan for 20 plus years just to completely abandon it?
Yeah.
You know, there was so many things we could have used there. We gave up Bagram Air Force Base, one of the most strategic Air Force bases in the world. Afghanistan has endless amounts of lithium that we could utilize for our green initiative, right? But we'll just give those over to China and let them sell us the lithium, even though we had built all the infrastructure there and they're already mining it.
Why? Why would we do that?
Why would we give it up?
Yeah. Because we made a decision to cut and run, and that was the decision we were going to live by.
I guess. I mean, I can't find any logic.
I mean, the problem is that on that one, both parties are to blame, right? Like Trump came up with a plan, and then Biden executed it terribly.
Yeah.
But I mean, Trump too wanted to pull us out of there and not keep anything. I mean, I realized we were over war. And I mean, the forever wars are a real thing. And people who grew up, I mean, I'm a little older than you are, but both of us grew up in a time where in the beginnings we thought these are just wars and we're serving a worthy cause here and we understand why the United States is doing it. And it's only having sort of been in the midst of this like belief and then seeing it all crash down and then seeing the aftermath that you realize I was sold a bag of goods.
Yep. Yeah. It's really interesting if you can take yourself out of the, you know, the politics and your emotional state and look at these things from like a 30,000 foot view. And it might paint a different perspective. And, you know, maybe we aren't the good guys.
Can your savings weather an economic storm? Think about what you've put away for the future. Inflation can render cash worthless. Real estate can crash like it did in '08. Economies built on a mountain of debt can fall like a house of cards. There are very few physical assets you can invest in that can stand the test of time. But gold has withstood as a valued form of money. It's why many people are flocking to it now and why Birch Gold is busier than ever. Through a little-known tax loophole, Birch Gold lets you convert a retirement account into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. And the best part, it doesn't cost you 1 cent out of pocket. To learn more, text MK to 989898 and claim your free info kit on gold. Again, can your IRA or 401k weather an economic storm? If not, consider looking into Birch Gold. Just text MK to 989898 and explore securing your savings today. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.